was near a crooked desk in the middle of the hallway. A man and a woman were standing there in business clothes that looked a little out of date, like something from an old office photo. The man looked about mid-40s, bent over a spread of documents on the desk in a rumpled dress shirt and slacks, while the woman around the same age stood beside him in a knee-length skirt, arms loose at her sides, staring toward the wall instead of at us. Brian slowed, and I did too. Both of us just waiting for them to glance up, or at least react to the elevator. But the man kept his head down over the papers. The woman kept staring past us, and they did not react to our presence at all, like they did not notice us. Brian said we should just find someone who actually worked there and started walking toward the far end of the hallway like the couple weren't even there. I watched him go and felt stuck, because I didn't want to stay alone by the elevator, but I also really didn't want to follow him deeper into that corridor. I was about to call him back when one of the office doors halfway down opened just enough for someone to slip through. A woman in a security uniform stepped out, but the colors and logo on it were completely different from the guards we'd seen downstairs. She looked straight at us and said, sharp and flat, "You should not be on this level." "Brian, come back," I called, meaning back to the elevator. But he was already heading toward her with his hands up a little, trying to look harmless. He started explaining that we were lost and trying to get to a clinic in the old tower, that my sister was there. She barely let him finish. In the same flat tone, she cut in with, "The highest button," gave a quick nod toward the elevator, and slipped back through the door, closing it firmly behind her. The latch sounded louder than it should have in that empty hallway. Brian came back frowning and asked if I'd seen what company name was on her badge. I told him no, just that her uniform didn't match the others. He shrugged and said maybe they used different contractors on different floors, and that, at this point, we might as well do what she said since everything else had been wrong. We stepped into the elevator again and looked at the panel. The highest button on it was 7. Brian hit it, the doors shut, and a second later they opened on another 7th floor. This one looked totally different. Bright lights, clean carpet, glass-fronted offices, printed directories on the walls, phones ringing somewhere, printers going. It felt like a normal office level, which somehow made the dead quiet of the other hallway feel even stranger in my head. We were standing there trying to make sense of the wall map when another guard walked straight toward us, this time in the same uniform as the guy at the lobby desk. She didn't smile. "What are you doing up here?" she asked, in that tone that isn't really a question. Before we could give her a full answer, she glanced at the elevator we'd just come out of and said, "This is a restricted administrative area. You're not supposed to be on this level. You need to leave immediately." Brian jumped in, saying we were just trying to get to the clinic where my sister was staying, that we kept ending up on the wrong floors and people had given us bad directions. I nodded and pulled out the little visitor sticker they'd given me downstairs, like proof we weren't sneaking around on purpose. Her face shifted from annoyed to just tired, and she asked how we'd gotten into that elevator without a badge. Brian mentioned the other guard, the woman with the different uniform who told us the highest button. The new guard frowned at that and said that company hadn't handled security in the building for years. She looked like she wanted to argue with us about it, then seemed to decide it wasn't worth it. Instead, she just sighed, told us to follow her, and used her card to open an unmarked service door at the end of the hall. Behind it was a short back hallway and a plain service elevator. She said this one would take us to the public clinic level, rode down with us, and walked us out into a busy corridor with clear signs for labs and imaging, and finally, the urgent care. Only when she made sure we could literally see the clinic entrance did she peel off and go back to her post. By the time we reached Caitlin's room and handed over her clothes and charger, I'd shoved the whole weird detour to the edge of my mind so I didn't accidentally say something that would stress her out more.
Please,
A few months later, when Caitlin had a follow-up in the same clinic during the day, I went with her again. While we were waiting for a nurse to come in, I ended up telling the story, including the couple in the hallway, the strange guard, all of it. The nurse laughed at first and said we must have mixed things up, because that floor doesn't exist, honey, and there was no abandoned 5th level in this building. When she realized we weren't joking, her face changed. She asked a couple of quick questions, then told us that 4 years earlier there had been a fire on the 5th floor of the old tower in an accounting firm.
Right, thank fuck.
2 employees.
That is genuinely the worst fucking level I've ever played. Don't ever make shit like this, bro. Who the fuck decided it's a good idea to make a randomized part after like 4 fucking minutes of gameplay? Also, having a fucking side part. What the fuck? Bro. Make a normal fucking level for once. Holy shit. Fucking dog shit.